The fun never ends with these three best friends. The fun never ends with the boys. With the boys.
W-I-U-S-L-P Bloomington.
You're listening to WXLP Bloomington. Welcome back. We've got a great show for you today planned. Right now we have Marsha online. Marsha from Greencastle. Marsha, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good.
That's great to hear. So what do you think about all these new sports coming out?
Oh, man. Well,
Anyways, enough about that. Over here on the phone, we got Joe from Toronto. Joe, can I hear a WIXLP Bloomington shout?
Oh, yeah, shout out to WIUX. I always listen to it on my morning rides and my evening rides back from work.
Oh, right. Listening to us on the work, on the go. I like the way you think, Joe. And last but not least, we have Daniel from Cambodia. Daniel, how do you say hello down there in Cambodia?
I have no idea. I only speak English.
There you have it. Now we got a great show planned. I'm Clay.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Billy.
Welcome to the Boys Colon Hour.
Yeah. All right, so
That was a spirit, an evil spirit of talk radio took control of me.
yeah, you were possessed.
I was possessed momentarily.
But speaking of possessed, hopefully something possesses you to go into your fridge, grab a cold one, and get ready to crack it open because we're about to start our show. So thank you all for tuning in. Could you pass me
Hold up, I'm going to the fridge.
the special fridge openers that are our hands that we use?
We have now special fridge openers courtesy of
The
WIUX.
Boys. All
The
right.
boys, Colon Hour.
All right. Oh,
Welcome
no,
to
no.
the jungle.
All right. Wait.
Oh, I just found one.
Things are getting crazy in
found
here.
Had to go all
I
the way
don't
to
know
the
what's
back of the
happening.
fridge.
Oh, there we
Oh,
are.
that sounds
Oh,
good.
man. I had to go all the way to my walk-in fridge. I just couldn't find it.
Couldn't find
Eventually
it.
I did,
Sometimes
but-
it's like that. Who are those boys on the radio? They've got some cold ones and their own show. So open up your ears, listen to us. Forget your fears, there's no need to fuss, cause the fun never ends with these three best friends. The fun never ends with the boys. With the boys. It's great singing with you, boys.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We're glad. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome. If it's not, welcome.
As
In fact,
well.
and if you're not tuning in,
You're in for a bumpy ride, buddy.
yeah, you're in for a bumpy ride. That's all I gotta say.
No, but thank you for tuning in. So, yes, it's another new week of the Boys Colon Hour. We've got
How thrilling it is to experience time.
Yeah, exhilarating. It's like traveling. It's like time travel actually exists.
I feel like just last week we were in the studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa!
And we're traveling.
We all went back in time.
We're going
My
into the
mind is
future.
blown.
Guys,
1 second at a time.
Guys, this reminds me of when I was 5 years old. Whoa!
Oh, dude. Wow.
Google Gaga.
Anyway.
I feel like I was just in here a year ago.
Whoa!
Wait, this is-
because we're in the new studio.
Yeah, this is the new
Oh,
studio.
So
Shoot.
if we have any problems,
Well,
please.
my memory has failed me.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes that happens. You're getting up there in years.
I am, yeah.
Mm.
Maybe we should go back in time for before the memory loss started.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what the problem is. Shrink down into tiny little humans. Take a spaceship into your brain and defeat the germs that are in there.
I'll volunteer for that.
Oh, I'd volunteer for
Yeah,
that too.
hey, me too.
I think we just wrote the movie that's going to make us rich.
Ooh.
What do we call it?
We'll call it
Inside the mind.
Inside the Mind.
Inside the insane
Inside
mind.
Inside the insane.
Inside the seriously insane mind.
Tonight on
Insane Man.
Inside the Insane.
Tonight on Inside an Insane Man, we travel inside Jonathan Falk to discover why he is so insane.
Ooh, I like the narrator.
Oh, well, thank you. I just am in a very narrating mood today. I feel like.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've wasted enough time with this nonsense,
debauchery.
this debacle that I call my life.
It's absolute waste of space.
Oh,
And
jeez.
airtime.
Oh.
Okay, really? Jeez.
Oh, man.
Anyways, moving on. So it's time for a little thing we like to call the Boy Wonder and the Boy Blunder. What?
So basically, the Boy Wonder
Okay.
is somebody who did something amazing, wonderful that week, and who's getting praise for it. Well, without much further ado, we would like to announce the Boy Wonder of the Week is Billy.
Oh, it's me?
No.
No.
Oh.
Can you tell us who it is?
Yeah, we just wanted that.
Hey! You must be dreaming if you think it's you.
Okay. The boy
More
wonder
later.
More on dreams.
of this
More
week
later.
is we got 2 envelopes. Oh wait, no. Sorry. This is just a bill.
Oh, okay.
Only one envelope.
Do you not pay water this month?
Yeah, no, I forgot. So only one envelope, but there's 2 pieces of paper in them, and one of them is blank. But the piece of paper that isn't blank has 2 names written on it, and one of the names is the boy wonder of the week is Colin,
Come on.
and the other name is Clay Catlin and Jonathan Falk.
Hey!
Not me.
Not you, but hey, it's okay.
That's okay. You can't be wonderful all the time.
Or Sergey.
Yeah,
Call me Mr. Wonderful, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, but that name is already taken.
Actually, call me Mr. Incredible then.
So,
But
That one's
so
definitely
basically,
taken
so what?
too.
Why are we wonders?
also, I was just gonna ask Sergey why are Clay and Jonathan wonders?
He doesn't know.
I really don't know why they're wonders.
wow.
Honestly, I'm still a little bit torn up that I was
Shoot.
He's
nominated.
like,
I'm really sorry.
He's experiencing trauma right now.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna
alright.
just. It's almost like a dream because I thought I was going.
Oh,
Hey.
dreams. More on that later.
This dream became more of a nightmare.
Oh, dude, I can't handle it anymore. I'm gonna pinch myself.
Oh, Sergey's
But I
gone. Where'd he go? He just disappeared.
So basically, we're on everyone who's in WIX is required to be
Forced.
forced against
our
their
will.
will
No. We want to do it.
to be
Totally.
on a WIUX committee. So the last 2 semesters we were on the promotions committee, which later became the art committee. Emily, our lovely.
Shout out to Emily.
Yeah, shout out to Emily. She's-
Emily. We were her faithful servants. And she was our
Brave leader.
compassionate master, brave leader. Yeah.
Brave leader.
So
We followed her into the fray.
Yeah, so this semester, I mean, even though we loved the art committee, we decided, venture out of our comfort zone. I mean, that's what.
Let's be honest, okay? We've been bugging Emily enough.
Yeah,
We want to spread our wings and annoy somebody else for a change.
exactly. So we signed up for the programming committee.
The programming committee, which is fun. However,
Shout out to them, I guess.
shout out to
Yeah,
the
shout out-
programming committee. You
But
guys
what
did awesome
happened?
work. However, sadly, we did not plan ahead, and our schedule does not work with the programming committee. So now, Emily, we're back with you. Yay!
Yay!
Oh,
But
just hugs and
Shout out to
all
Emily.
around.
Round 3.
yeah,
Round 3. Shout out to Emily.
I'm excited, but unfortunately, there's a little bit of paperwork. I'd say. Paperwork that has to be done in order to switch committees. It's kind of a big deal. So we had to move from the programming committee to the art committee, and that's where Clay and Jonathan really took forward and went the extra
I had
mile.
to fill out a
Yeah, they really
petition.
shined.
Had to get it signed by a few people.
Actually, I DM'd Emily on Twitter and asked her if we could join the committee back. She would accept us back, and then Jonathan,
I scribed a letter on parchment to Connor.
yes, to
And
Connor.
You had to find a goose and pluck its
Ooh.
feather out, so you actually had a quill too.
True.
Well,
So
anyways,
really the extra mile.
exactly. He really went the extra mile. Now everything's squared away, so I guess that's why we're Boy Wonder. Now for Boy
Blender.
Blender,
Ooh.
Alrighty.
should I give the
Yeah, sure.
the unlucky,
Let's just
Oh,
pass
no.
envelopes.
the accursed name? Yes,
There you go.
that envelope right here.
Oh,
This
no.
envelope says that we are in delinquency for paying our. Oh no, sorry, that's something else. Anyways, the boy blunders of the week are Jonathan Falk and Billy McDonough.
Oh,
no.
Gosh,
Ba-
geez, no wonder, and
bas-
also the blunder for
Basically,
man.
these two meatballs. We went out to dinner earlier, and
We're like these 2 chicken wings.
these 2 chicken wings started running into each
Talk
other
about
like
it.
they were go karts. What do you guys have to say for yourself?
Okay, well, so I'm just standing there, right? And then all of a sudden I turn around, and next thing I know, there's a full drink right in my face. I bump into it, and
Billy was that drink.
Billy was that drink.
I was.
He
represented
was
that
that
drink.
tall glass of water.
It's really a metaphor. No, we went to Buffalo's. That's the restaurant, local Bloomington restaurant,
Yes,
and we just had finished eating. I had my drink, which they were out.
I had a corn dog.
Yes.
I didn't actually.
No. But anyways, so they have these like cups, and they usually have lids on them, as many cups do. However, they were out today.
Ooh.
So that's step number 1. That's the first mysterious aspect of this. Secondly, we're walking out, and as we're leaving the restaurant, I'm just standing there holding my cup of refilled Diet Pepsi.
Recycled Diet Pepsi.
And
You drank it and peed it out already.
yeah, okay, really. And then basically Jonathan backs up into my drink. Let's just say it made quite a scene. All right, imagine just sitting in a restaurant, and obviously, as for those of you who haven't been there, Buffalo's is known for its quiet, eloquent atmosphere. Quaint, exactly. Yeah. It's like people go in there just for the ambiance.
Yep.
And so, what do you think people
I don't even
thought?
get the food. I can't afford it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's like a library too.
It's like a library. I just look at people in there.
The only thing
and read them like books. I go in there, I sit down in the corner, I say, I read you people like books. I'm going to stare at them for the rest of the night.
But you have to whisper it very quietly.
Yeah, I whisper it to each of them.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say the only thing I can order there is like the shredded cheese kernel with gold.
The shredded cheese kernels. Half cheese, half kernel.
Yeah.
Half cheese, half corn.
Anyways.
I heard Jake Gyllenhaal can shrink down to the size of one of those babies.
Oh, you saw Reloaded 3?
No, I saw Disaster Attacks.
Oh, I thought it was Calamity Breach.
Oh, no, it was Ghost Recon.
Okay.
Excuse me. So anyways. So these people are sitting there for a nice quiet dinner. How do you think that they feel when they basically hear the sound equivalent of a semi-truck blasting backwards into a gasoline tank, cement mixer, transformer?
Is that you?
Explosion.
You're the transformer.
Let's just
I'm the
say
cement mixer.
we were kicked out of the establishment.
Not only kicked out, the police were actually notified.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a blunder for these two folks.
For Billy especially, but
Yeah,
for Jonathan especially.
But whenever I'm not the blunder, it's just music to my ears. Speaking of music, it's time for music on the 14s. We're a little late, but we're just having too much fun with you crazy people right now. Enjoy.
He got possessed again. We'll be
Enjoy.
right back.
But first, Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Oh, no.
All right,
Don't say that.
actually, it's going to be a song called Marmalade, and it's by The Pills.
Okay, that's what you said last time.
By The Pills, okay.
But it's a drink. It's a cold one.
The caffeine
so
pills.
it's gotta be
Marmalade.
right.
That's not a
peach
drink.
marmalade.
That's a butter.
Don't go away.
Peach marmalade?
Oh, marmalade.
No, marmalade.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, marmalade, yes.
You are listening to WIX LP Bloomington.
Check this out, man.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So we all know we've got a lot of talent in America, but unfortunately there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Marmalade by The Pills.
All right, hello. We're back again. And actually, before I start getting on the news here, we actually have a British sports channel that's going to be talking with us. It's 2 panel members. So here they are.
Hello.
Enjoy.
Hello.
Today in footy news, we see
Football
Ipswich
news.
versus Tottenham, Norwalk versus Gottingham, Manchester United versus Manchester City versus Manchester Country versus Manchester Town versus Manchester Suburbs. New on Footy News. See the results at Z.
Ah, good show, good show. Next we have wiffle ball. India beat Pakistan by a record 4 wiffles and 2 waffles. And
You hate to hear that.
you hate to hear that. And we've got exclusive coverage coming here live, straight from the wiffle ball capital of the world, Topeka, Kansas.
Beautiful city.
Beautiful. Have you been there?
I have. My ex-wife's from there.
Oh.
I was catching the footy game of Topeka United versus Topeka Arsenal. I was sitting in the crowd enjoying my, my fish and chips.
Fish and
When a
chips.
footy ball
Good
comes over the
show.
fence and biffs me right on the boffer.
show, yes.
I stand up, I say, "Hey, what's all this, huh?"
Yeah. If that ain't the most outrageous sequence of events ever, then my name isn't Montgomery Smithersworth the Third.
And my name isn't Harry Frog.
Frog. So that was sports
Footy news.
on the 20s.
Well, I just wanted to thank you both for coming out. I know it was quite the journey, and I feel quite
Cheers.
inspired by your just like the different backgrounds that you have within your field. So,
Cheers, mate.
yeah, have a good flight back, both of you.
Thank you.
And as they say back in London, adios.
All right, so I kind of felt inspired by that, so maybe I should give a little bit of a twist because my American accent is kind of bland today.
Okay.
We'll spice it up.
You should deliver the American sports, or as they call it in England, football.
Oh, actually,
Football, sorry.
I do have some news about that. So the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York announced early
walk in
Tuesday that charges of fraud and corruption have been brought against 4 current college basketball assistant coaches. Basketball and football are the same thing in your place, right?
Well, we call it every sport football.
Football, okay. So
This is cricket.
unless it's okay, that's a
We
good.
call it
That's,
footy
Or wiffle ball.
or football.
what about waffle ball?
Waffle ball. That's actually only in Topeka, Kansas, where they play that.
Ah, interesting. I actually haven't been out there. Do they have a lot of groundhogs or something?
They have a lot of ground. Like there's just generally a lot of places to sit and stand there.
I see.
Yeah.
See. Interesting.
There's a lot of ground to cover. That was the problem.
So the 4 coaches specifically were namely Arizona's Emmanuel Book
Shame on
Richardson,
you, Emmanuel.
Auburn's Chuck Person.
There's
Son
no way for a
Person,
chap's person to behave.
Oklahoma State's Lamont Evans.
Blimey.
And USC's Tony Bland.
Hey, Tony.
Now, managers, financial advisors, and representatives of a major sportswear company have also been charged with federal crimes in a scandal that has rocked the sport. And I have to say, I'm quite ashamed. I wish it was more like in your country. You know, it's a little bit more order over there.
Oh, we call it soccer.
Oh, I thought it was football.
No, I think that's what they call it in maybe Hawaii.
Yes, comrade. If you call it soccer one more time, I will sock you in face
Oh, gee.
with my fist.
Yeah, when did this guy show up?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I actually don't know why we invited that person, but you know how the Russians have an affair with the Americans these days, so why not just let it go?
Hey, we're gonna have to give him some old-fashioned Texas justice.
Alrighty
What do you
then.
say?
And so that's the news for today, sports news for today anyway.
What do you say? We have breaking news.
Oh?
All right, so
No.
and with that, I will pass it along.
All right. So,
All right, breaking news.
thank you.
Well, so today we're gonna be dreaming
Dreaming about many things.
of a white Christmas.
Should I get tucked in?
You should get tucked in.
I would like to before you settle in. Where do you dream? Your house, right?
Right.
Yes.
Usually, unless you're
Typically.
unless you're dreaming in school.
I don't dream.
I heard there was an incident about recently about that.
Me?
No, just the school right across from our house.
Oh,
actually.
right, yeah.
We actually live across from our house.
There's actually a huge problem with, we live right behind a school and there's actually a kidnapping there.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It's horrible.
Wait, last night or today?
No, today at school there's a kidnapping, but his teacher realized he was asleep and woke him up.
Okay.
Anyways, we're talking about dreams today.
Yes.
We're kind of inspired. Oh, okay, never mind. I totally get it. Sorry. Anyways, today we're gonna be talking about dreams, and we're gonna be playing a little bit of a psychoanalyst.
Ooh.
We're gonna be like
Psychiatrist.
We're gonna be sort of put on our Freudian caps because we're gonna be analyzing each other's dreams.
Are those the aluminum caps that you put on with the pointy?
Yes.
All right.
To prevent your brain from being taken control of.
Exactly.
Yes. So everybody put your pointy tinfoil caps.
That way you can't have any bad dreams while you're in here.
Yes, and actually hang a dream catcher over your head unless you find that insensitive. In which case, do not hang a dream catcher over your head, but hang a respectful picture of, your favorite president. And we're gonna get right into
vice president.
Or vice president, or Secretary of the Interior. Actually, make sure it's Secretary of the Interior. But anyways, let's talk about dreams.
Oh, let's talk about dreams?
Billy, tell me your dream. Well, not your dream like your personal aspirations. Nobody cares about that, okay?
Okay.
You're not some kind of special, unique snowflake, all right?
All right, really?
Wake up and smell the breakfast.
Okay.
But what is your dream like? You fall asleep and dream.
Yeah, so I actually do not remember my dreams from like the last couple days. I would like to point out that I'm wording it that way instead of I haven't dreamt in that amount of time, because technically everyone dreams every time they hit REM sleep, which is hopefully every night.
That's a theory. Anyways.
No, that's a proven fact, actually. It's just you don't remember it. So I don't know.
haven't been inside my head.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't been
my insane cranium.
Yeah, I haven't been inside the insane, but I
There's
do
just
know.
nothing in there when
I do know that.
There's nothing. Believe me, there's nothing in Jonathan's head.
Oh yeah.
There was according to an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation that I watched once. If you don't dream for a while, you will actually eventually go insane. Is that true, Sergey? Do you see that episode?
I do remember that episode, but let us take into account that this is Star Trek, which is a very, very true, scientific, and plausible show. A documentary, in fact, about
the future.
A documentary series about science.
It's a 5-year journey, actually, into the mind.
Into Jonathan's insane mind.
So
into seriously disturbed depths of his brain.
You know, they say that a dream, in all seriousness, is a
wish your heart makes.
Yeah, exactly. They also say that.
Jeez, in case I wish my heart didn't wish to wet the bed every night. Then.
Okay, too much information. But they do say that a dream is like the random remnants of your mind just kind of like seeping in, like people you see.
What happened during the day is pretty much part of it is replaying or something. What happens to me a lot is what'll happen is the last thing I think about before I go to sleep will somehow factor in my dream.
Right. And sometimes it's not even that, just random people, random events, random things that you were thinking about, random concepts. Like, that's why sometimes you'll be like in a hospital, but you are like, I am 100% sure this is a zoo or something weird like that.
I'm in a hospital. Let me real quick go to the zoo and feed the tiger. I'm bored.
Yeah.
Also, we're like right next door.
Exactly. Just because it's random things mixing and moshing into each other. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard about dreams.
Well, give us one of your dreams so we can analyze it.
All right. Well, like I said, I haven't had a dream that I remember in quite a while. And for
I always remember my dreams and for like 20 minutes, and then like if I don't tell somebody, they're just gone forever.
Exactly.
That's why you got to write them down if you really want to.
I need to start writing them down.
Yeah,
I usually don't, but I have a couple times.
I actually recommend keeping a dream journal. That's what I do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually best if you can get it within the first 20 minutes, as Clay was saying. So,
question.
Yes.
Excuse me, but
okay,
anyway.
Seriously.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This dream is becoming a nightmare.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. A dream that I've had before. For those longtime Boys Cole and Hour fans who've listened to every episode, you may remember I did a segment once where I listed a bunch of dreams. And
Billy's Dare to Dream segment.
Yeah, and these boys had to guess which dreams were made up and which dreams I have actually dreamt up. I'm going to cite one specific one that I talked about last time that was real, and you guys can interpret what this means. It was back when I was in high school. I actually had this dream while I was in college. But in this dream, I'm in high school, and I'm in marching band. I was in marching band in high school. And we go to this marching band competition, and our band director is really stressed out because we have to play, and the music notes from our instruments have to hit Ganondorf from Legend of Zelda and defeat him.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're almost like playing like a rhythm. It's like kind of like Guitar Hero, sort of.
I don't really remember. All I remember is we were on the field playing our music, and I just knew that Ganondorf was trying to run up and catch us. But every time we played, he got sent flying backward a little bit. It's kind of weird. So tell me what that means, boys. I have no clue. This thing. Is key. I literally think about this every second of every day. seventh concerto in my head over and over again, so he won't attack me in real life.
Okay. So first of all, I need one piece of information.
Yes.
What instrument were you playing?
I used to play trumpet as
What do
well.
you say about people who play trumpet?
Clay, I think you're the only. Sergey, you've played trumpet, right?
I actually have played trumpet.
So
I actually played trumpet for like a few days, but then my band director told me I should switch to baritone tuba.
Really?
Right, I remember this conversation.
Because he said my voice was too deep, which is definitely not a real thing
That's
at all.
definitely not how it works. Like,
No, not at all. I think there's nobody who played baritone tuba.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy's not going to bring anything.
This
new to
kid's
the-
a sucker. He's
Like, this kid's a
he'll
sucker.
do anything
Yeah,
I tell him.
He'll believe anything I tell him. But so right away, trumpet makes me think of. I think of a person of a trumpet as somebody who's confident, because like you trumpet out your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes to the point of arrogance, but sometimes positively.
Uh-huh.
So I'd say that kind of at least that aspect of the dream tells me something about your psyche.
Mhm.
Sergey?
So I would actually like to point out that I think a critical factor here is you were trying to hit Ganondorf. And I think that stems from the issue that you might have anger management, because as we all know, Ganondorf's signature move is the Warlock Punch.
Yeah, it is.
So I think what was going on there was he was getting so tired of your trumpet playing, and you were getting so annoyed at him, and you got really angry at him, so you just kept playing and playing, that he got so mad at you that he decided that he was going to duke it out with you. And that is why you could not actually play.
Interesting.
Yes.
Also, I see Ganondorf as representing issues with your father. Do you have a tense relationship with your father?
No.
Do you expect to in the future?
No, hopefully
I definitely
not.
see daddy issues though with the Ganondorf.
I do. No, I definitely see that as well.
Yeah. So Jonathan, do you have
I
any?
feel like it shows Billy's love of music and that it's his only escape from this cruel world.
I see
Like
that
whenever
too.
he's down,
From his disturbed brain. Right.
from his disturbed crazy mind. Whenever he's down, he just picks up his trumpet and plays, and it's like he's in a whole nother world.
Right. And anytime I'm not doing music, the Ganondorfs of the world come.
They
closing
win.
in.
Ganondorf wins.
Ganondorf wins.
When you stop playing the trumpet, Ganondorf wins.
I see that. So basically, we have arrogant. I mean, confident. Sometimes the point of arrogance, sometimes not. Sergey, what was your?
Maybe anger that stems from impatience.
I see daddy issues. And Jonathan?
I see music being his escape.
All right. So Billy, how do you feel? How accurately do you feel like that?
I feel like that was very accurate, especially the part about...
Daddy issues.
No, I was going to say, especially the part about me going insane.
Yeah,
no. But what I really want to know...
Let's rewind that back for a second.
This is my life. You might have wondered how I got here in the first place.
Now let's fast forward.
So, so what I really want to hear about are your guys' dreams. So who's next? Who's next on the chopping block?
Okay, so I'm a person who's had a lot of dreams in my life. I can kind of give you two dreams. Which dream do you want? Actually, I don't know. I've had some
Let's start
weird
with
dream.
one.
Let's do one for now.
Start
yeah.
with one.
Yeah.
So this one is maybe a less interesting dream, but I think my reaction to it was more interesting.
Mhm.
So in my dream, I was a little bit obsessed with monsters when I was a kid.
Mhm.
So I would always love to watch like those
Weren't we
paranormal
all?
TV shows and like Bigfoot, real or fake, or like the Yeti. Can we find proof of his existence?
Mhm.
I was really obsessed with those. In fact, there's a show called Animal X that used to come onto I think it was Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi channel, and I'd watch Animal X. Like I'd record the episodes and watch them over and over again. And in my dream, I was in a desert, a desert blowing with sand all over. Like you could barely see anything. And I had a camera around my neck, like sort of like an old-fashioned reporter camera. Like I got the big scoop, see? And yeah.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, yes. I was not a nightcrawler though. I was stuck in this desert, and then I soon realized what my purpose there was, because I looked over and I saw a gigantic, sort of yellow golden serpent creature with these like horns and wings, battling with a sort of like I don't know this. If you guys have ever seen Godzilla, the monster Jet Jaguar. Look up Jet Jaguar. So this golden serpent thing sort of battling Jet Jaguar. Or not even Jet Jaguar, but a monster that looked like Jet Jaguar. And I was like, this is amazing. I need to get the scoop. So I took out my camera and I started snapping pictures of this epic battle. And they wouldn't really show up in the picture, so I remember getting closer. And, for a second, Jet Jaguar has the snake pinned and he's like pummeling it. Then the snake has itself wrapped around him, constricting him. And then I remember waking up with the TV still on. And I was like, wow, that was so weird. Like, I can't believe that's real. Like, monsters are real.
Right.
Because in my head, I thought I watched a documentary. For some reason, it didn't connect. This happens to me still to this day, where I watch a dream and I think it's a movie I've seen, like a documentary. So I thought I'd watched a documentary, and I was like, wow, monsters are real. Like, I watched this documentary about these two monsters fighting, and I go downstairs, and I'm like, Mom, it's crazy. Like, have you heard about these monsters? They're real. And my mom was like, Yeah. And then I was trying to talk to her more about it. I'm like, she's like, what are you talking about? What channels are you watching? I'm like, there was a real monster fight in the desert between these two monsters. It was on TV. It was on a documentary. It was on Animal X.
Oh.
My mom was like, no, that's not true. And I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why would there be monsters be real? And then I remember being really disappointed because I really, really, really wanted it to be real. But in the end, I am glad my mom snapped me too, because I could still, if I didn't have that conversation, I could still be walking around today with the idea that monsters were real and that I saw a documentary about it once.
Right.
So that's my dream. My dream story, I guess.
Did that happen? When was that? That was a couple of days ago?
Yeah, a couple days. No, that was probably when I was about 9 or 10. But yeah, I just vividly remember just being so convinced it was real. And that still happens to me. Like, I'll like tell somebody something and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, wait, I definitely jumped it. Yeah, I
oh my
jumped it.
gosh, wow.
What do you guys think? Lay it on me. Get it deep into the crannies of my disturbed cranium.
This Jet Jaguar guy, I just Google imaged him.
He's not, okay, just to be fair, it's not exactly Jet Jaguar. It's a figure that can best be described as resembling Jet Jaguar.
Okay, he looks very silly. He looks very silly to be someone battling Godzilla.
Okay, you think battling Godzilla is silly? This guy's serious.
Is it a robot?
He is a robot. He's actually designed just to defeat Godzilla.
Oh, wow.
Maybe Mothra, actually. I'm not sure.
I think
he looks more like a clown, actually. Look up Jet Jaguar.
I'm looking at it, yeah.
Jet Jaguar, I think that definitely represents your father.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you have any issues, maybe a tense relationship with him? I know he just got out of prison.
Yeah, well.
Kidding.
Well, no, he got out of prison a few days ago. I would say my relationship with my father is anything but tense. It's incredibly strained. I'd say strained, not tense.
Gotcha. Oh.
Yeah.
But I think this Jet Jaguar, well, your Jet Jaguar definitely represents your id, your psychological id.
My it?
Id. ID.
Like Pennywise?
No, id as in like, id, that's like the id versus your ego versus your super ego. I'm saying the serpent is your super ego, the Jet Jaguar is your id, and it's a constant struggle and balance between, it's an inner struggle between your id.
That actually,
and your
that's
super
very
ego.
true because in the past I've been dumped many times by romantic partners for my super huge ego. So I think that might have something to do with it.
Okay.
Sergey, what do you think?
So I think a common tendency with modern psychology, and especially when analyzing and interpreting dreams, is people try to look too hard for things. They're reading between the lines to come up with all this jargon such as id and ego and superego. I don't believe there's ego. No, I'm kidding. But I think it does stem from I hate to say it, like maybe daddy issues. I think that Billy was definitely on track there. So going there, I think it's not even the fact that the relationship is strained. It's the fact that you think it's strained, and therefore that is getting in place of your, let's just say, your id.
Oh, my id. Okay.
Yes.
Your id.
So
I think it's the fact
my strained
that
relationship with me thinking my relationship with my father is strained is interfering with my id.
yes. In fact, I think it what it does is it creates this lack of self-confidence.
So is my id? So my id is the serpent, and my relationship with my father is my Jet Jaguar.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the fact is you're overcompensating. So that's why there's that ego.
I've got a lot to compensate for, or overcompensate for.
Yeah. So that's my interpretation of it.
Jonathan?
So I think that is definitely a possibility, and that probably is true. But I also think, basically, how old were you at this time?
9 or 10.
Okay, so I'm going to say your life was just so boring at this time that you just really wanted these monsters to be real.
That actually is very valid, I think.
That's probably, I think that might be pretty accurate. So, like, you're just having this dream, and then you so badly wanted them to be real that you still thought it was real after you woke up.
Oh. See, I definitely believe that because my life was boring. But sometimes, and that's definitely the case of that. I mean, like, what 9-year-old's life isn't boring? But I feel like 9-year-olds should have boring lives. You know what I mean?
Maybe relatively, yeah.
I mean, just to learn how to be able to be okay with being bored. Because as a child, you're bored a lot. But
That's true.
I think that I think that is true. But sometimes the opposite happens, where like I'll think something's real and I'll be so sad. Somebody tells me it won't, and I'm like, yes, like it kind of makes my day that that dream was fake. But so yeah, I feel like I've been interpreted. That I have daddy issues. That I have a boring life. And that my strained relationship with my father is battling against my own id.
Exactly.
All right, so wow, I'm gonna call my dad after the show. I gotta talk to him. Anyways, Jonathan,
I have a couple.
You have a recent one, don't you?
Yeah, I have a pretty recent one. So in this dream, it's pretty quick. Very short dream. I think I woke up from something, but Probably one of these boys being too loud. I don't know, but so all right. So I'm in my house, and and I walk into the garage. There's no cars in the garage.
Right.
It was just an empty garage, and then all of a sudden this like bouncy ball comes in through the mailbox, and it's just bouncing around in the garage, and then like a couple more come in. And then all of a sudden, there's just like a steady stream of these bouncy balls, and the whole entire garage is just like bouncy balls everywhere. I'm starting freaking out. I think I like told my mom or dad or something, and they're like, "What? Like, I don't even like. Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I walk back in. The bouncy balls are really going crazy, and then like a huge like semi truck just smashes into the garage, and then I like think that people are gonna like start killing me, and then I wake up.
Interesting.
Wow.
So what do you think about that one?
I think
I can. Oh, Billy, you want to go ahead?
no. I just got a brief comment before you start. I was just gonna say I think Sergey and our other roommate Jay have been using my racket balls too much around the house.
They definitely have
Probably, honestly.
Yeah.
He had a full can of racquetballs at the beginning of the year. Now it's like one
Empty because
half of one actually.
taking racquetball class, and these bozos decided to take up juggling.
So
Next thing I know,
man.
balls are flying all over the house. Go
That'd
ahead,
be it,
Clay.
honestly.
so Jonathan, what I'm gonna tell you is not gonna be easy to hear. Is that okay?
Okay.
How would you describe your relationship with your father? Was he never really there?
No.
So your father's never been there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do fathers teach sons how to do? They teach them everything. They teach them how to shave, how to fight, and most importantly, how to drive a car. So an empty garage with no cars represents that relationship with your father that just wasn't there. And then once the bouncy balls comes in, what is a boy's bigger dream in life than to play catch with his father? Exactly. So those bouncy balls sort of symbolize you want to get in touch with your father. You want to play with him, but you never had that normal relationship with him. He's never been in your life. He's always been out, doing God knows what.
Mm-hmm.
So the empty garage is sort of how your father is now. And the bouncy balls, that childlike sense of play and networking sort of represent what you want your relationship with your father to be like. So I see some serious daddy issues here.
Okay. What about the truck smashing into it? What's everything?
The truck the truck is a classic. So everyone knows dads drive sedans. Well, the truck is a classic symbol of a stepdad. So I see.
Well, it was like it was like a huge like a
Yeah.
like a
Oh yeah. That's
Obesity is a
Yeah.
big problem.
Trucks of all forms are stepdad cars. I think we agree there. So I see a stepdad. His name is Mark or Mike, and he'll be coming into your life soon and actually marrying your mother.
Oh no.
And you and him are gonna have a lot of arguments because he wants to reach out to you and be the father figure and play catch with you, but you feel like he drove a semi truck over your dreams of having that perfect father. So you're not gonna let him in, and it's gonna end horribly for you.
Wow,
Billy?
that's crazy. That was very compelling. All I can think of is, so how big are these bouncy balls? Are they?
It's like little
Okay,
normal.
They're small.
I think some of them were bigger than others though, so there were like a range of them. They're all sorts of different colors too.
Did you fall into a ball pit as a small child?
Probably.
Did you urinate in the ball pit?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So you might have fallen in, but you've definitely urinated in it. I think this is definitely some trauma that is resurfacing.
They weren't wet though.
You probably don't remember falling into the ball pit because, a lot of people, a lot of people who have traumatic memories actually repress them. So this is a form of, coping. This is a coping mechanism for you. And the only time you can really, face your fears is in your dream. And you feel like the idea of getting drowned by all those bouncy balls is almost like a truck hitting you in the face. And you said you had a feeling that someone was trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Once the truck did you see a driver in the truck?
No, but I think that they were like, I think I might have seen other people like running up to the house with guns like immediately after.
Oh
But then
my
I woke
goodness.
up. But then I woke up.
That's a big part to leave out.
You neglected that part, buddy.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I said people are going to kill me. I don't know.
People are gonna kill you. Interesting.
It was like the truck was like the first part of it. Like that's how they bam, like into the house.
So you
And then
saw
they were gonna-
unidentified males carrying sharp objects?
Yes.
How'd you
yes.
define
I
those?
saw
No, just kidding.
sharp males carrying unidentified objects.
Okay.
Interesting. All I have to say is, I think those people and all the bouncy balls are related,
Oh man.
and I think
Wow.
they are a metaphor for the fact that there's no place like home, and they invaded your home. So think
Yeah.
about that one for a little
So,
bit.
True.
Sergey, do you have something?
So Dr.
Yeah.
Waxman, what do you think
So
about this dream?
I find that
This
very-
clearly disturbed dream from a very troubled young man.
Perhaps it is, but I think the fact is we're focusing on the negative aspects here. That adrenaline rush at the end where you feel like that your life is in danger. Maybe it's more of mere acceptance that you don't want to be like those balls. You watch them; they were coming in steady streams in pattern, right? First, it was just one, and they were different sizes, which of course that means there is variety there. But is there really variety there? Are they all not just doing the same thing? They're bouncing. And the fact that it's an empty garage, if you think about it, you said you tried to get your parents, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't hear you. And I think that's oftentimes where you're going through life and you think, oh, maybe this isn't what I want to exactly be doing. And so you try to tell yourself that, but you're telling it to an empty crowd. They're not really listening. Wow. So maybe you're not really listening to yourself. Maybe there's a voice in the wilderness like crying out to do something else. And I think
maybe the voice of your father.
Maybe. But I think with that, then what comes after that is the semi-truck. And it just like crashes through and breaks your garage. It breaks and the entire.
Breaks down my walls.
So
exactly.
So the semi-truck is positive.
It is, but you don't want to get to the semi-truck usually. You want to be able to leave the garage on your own, with the walls still intact.
He needs to learn how to leave
because you need to have a safe space still, something to go back to. But the fact is, something came into your life and it completely disrupted it. And then you feel like you're out there and you don't know where you are, and that's where that fear comes from.
Wow, that might be pretty accurate.
And then,
fascinating.
If you don't leave, he feels that if he isn't able to escape, he feels like it could be the death of him.
Exactly. That it'll be the death of a personality of Jonathan.
So those people coming to kill Jonathan are not trying to kill Jonathan. They're trying to kill that part of Jonathan.
Exactly, because it's been there too long. It hasn't moved on, and maybe it's not ready to move on.
That's crazy.
That's pretty deep.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Wow. Jeez. So Sergey, doctor turned patient. What do you think? Well, first of all, Jonathan, what do you think this interpretation?
Before we do Sergey, I think Sergey should do, because we're a little late on this.
Oh yeah.
News on the 47s
with himself.
If you don't mind.
So this is a very interesting story. It's local. It happened here at IU. New York Times reported on story involving an IU student who was left behind in Sullivan Cave for 58 hours.
Poor kid.
Wow.
Yeah. He was stranded in a cave without food or water. He was unsure that he would ever see his family again. He wrote notes to loved ones on his phone, which did not have a signal. He licked moisture off the cave walls and became so hungry he thought about eating crickets. On an internal Indiana University website, the club posted a statement that the student newspaper published. We have a series of rigorous protocols in place that are supposed to prevent situations like this, but they're only effective if followed. We had a failure in our leadership to closely follow all these safety procedures. Fortunately, the IU students survived and recovered. Now, the interesting thing about this is we actually knew about one of the people who went on this trip.
Yeah.
But this trip I heard was separated into two groups, and he was in charge of doing head counts for the other group. Yes.
Yeah, I heard about the story.
That's what he's
very
scary.
Say.
Yeah, that's what he would say.
That's what I say too. No, the other group. I promise.
Yeah, exactly. Very scary though. I remember I read the article.
I'm just
I also heard about it from this guy.
That poor kid. He's gonna need some dream analysis. He's gonna need some dream analysis.
Oh, he will.
He's gonna be dreaming about caves for the rest of his life.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, very traumatizing.
Anyway, so Sergey, let's
hear about these dreams.
Let's get into your brain.
Okay.
What is your dream?
So this one it seemed very short.
Is it recent?
It was actually recent. I think it was last week. So I was in this room, and it was a very large room, maybe like an auditorium, but it had many doors.
Many doors.
And have you ever noticed when you look into a room and a car drives by, the shadows from the window kind of like turn?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what you mean.
So that's what it felt like in the room, but there were no windows. But the shadows would always turn, and they would go over the doors, so you couldn't see the doors. And there were 9 of us, and I don't remember exactly who was there. I just remember that what was important was there were 9 of us, including myself.
Right.
And we would all walk around talking to each other. And every time we walked around and made one full revolution, someone was gone.
Oh, creepy.
Wait, who? This is all of us, or
no?
Yeah, no. So there were 9 of us.
He doesn't
and I just remember
who.
that I knew these people.
You don't know who they were though.
But I don't remember who they were. And we were walking around this auditorium place. 9 of us.
Abandonment issues.
And and every time we made one full revolution, someone was gone. And then it was to the last point where I was the only person left, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave. But I was also worried that maybe everyone had left because they were going somewhere, and I didn't know if I needed to go there too. So I was stuck in a predicament. And there were doors to choose from, but I didn't know if I had to choose a certain door, and I was afraid that I would make the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I opened the door and woke up.
That's
wow.
really.
Oh, that just gave me chills.
Yeah,
Wow.
that did.
Literally.
God.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness, that's a good one.
I mean, I definitely think
Who
abandonment.
needs a Halloween episode?
Yeah, because I
Should
mean,
be coming up soon.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming
right on.
you had an abandonment by your father, very early on in
I'm thinking
life,
that too.
and that's kind of what's driving this whole thing. You're afraid. This is your fear, a manifestation of your greatest fear of everyone around you disappearing, one by one, in an almost systematic manner. And I think that just really says a lot about maybe you're afraid about losing a part of yourself to the point that you don't even know who you are anymore. And that's you opening that door.
Interesting.
What do you guys think?
So Sergey, before we get into anything,
Yes.
how's your relationship with your father? Not there?
I'd say maybe absent.
Absent, okay.
Yes.
So basically,
Revolving?
you have all these people in your life, okay? Let's say your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your mother, your friends, your teachers, your coworkers, your peers, your lovers. And they're all great, Sergey. They'll all be with you. They're all with you for the revolution, but sometimes you can't count on everybody. Sometimes a friend moves away. Sometimes a lover betrays you. Sometimes a relationship with a cousin grows distant. And in the end, all these relationships are great, but what you really want is that relationship with your father. But you're scared of it. You can't accept it. You can't open that last door when everybody else is gone, when everybody else is accounted for, all the other people in your life. You can't bring yourself to open that door and embrace and confront and embrace your father. And there's something, you need to do that because it's your greatest desire and also your greatest fear. Because all these people in your life, they can't replicate the bond a father has with his son. And you won't know what that's like until you reach out to him. Where is he in jail currently?
No.
Okay, well,
Prison.
prison?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay, well, wherever he is, you need to reach out to him.
Okay.
Jonathan, what do you have to say?
So here's what I think. I think we're at a point in our lives right now where there's a lot of decisions to make, right? There's a lot of people around you. But these people are leaving you one by one.
Oh.
They're all deciding, they're going different paths. And you're losing all these people.
Oh, that's kind of real.
Wow, this is sad.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, but it's good too because there's new opportunities. There's a lot of different ways you can go. And you're just trying to figure out the right way.
So
So you're taking your time. You're really thinking well about this, and you're going to make a good decision. But you might still feel like you're not sure which door to open. But at the end of it, you just have to pick a door and open it.
Oh, wow.
And then you woke up. So obviously, there's a good door.
Oh, that's
Or
very-
actually, if you open the wrong door, you might be dead right now. So.
One of the doors had two hungry lions.
Oh man.
Two lions that hadn't eaten in a year.
Oh.
How do you know to go in that door? Because they hadn't eaten in a year, so they're dead.
Ooh.
Have you guys ever heard that riddle?
Wait, no, I haven't.
Where it's
I
like,
have,
where it's like,
That's pretty good.
where it's like one leads to safety, one leads to two ferocious lions who haven't eaten in a year. And so you're like, okay, well, both doors will take me to safety because the lions are dead because they haven't eaten in a year.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, yeah, I find those interpretations very interesting because they all focus.
I find
on-
Jonathan's interesting, but very, very sad.
Yeah, I know. I'm
But
depressed.
it's not too sad though.
I know,
He's
it's
just
kinda like
thinking
what's
about
happening, like-
what his decision is going to be.
You have these close relationships with people, and then
Exactly.
like, they sort of end up going different paths.
It is definitely interesting, and I think
Yeah.
you all touched upon like the issue of abandonment.
Yeah.
And I was actually just thinking to myself, so
Who doesn't have abandonment
so
issues?
I don't usually actually think about this, but I was adopted, so I didn't know who my real
Yeah.
parents were, but I never really
Oh.
think about it. So is it like one of those suppressed memories or something? I actually didn't think about it until you guys started mentioning the word
Oh,
abandonment.
actually,
Oh,
could
Yeah.
yeah.
So that-
we're
so that
raised
was
by
interesting.
wolves.
True. No, but
That
in all-
doesn't have
in all-
anything.
in all
That's
serious-
irrelevant. That's irrelevant fact.
In all seriousness, yeah, maybe you want to know why you were given up for adoption.
Yeah, but I've never actually really thought about that or like taken the time to think about that at all. So it's interesting that might be the
It might
way
be
it
productive
goes.
or unproductive.
But I really like Jonathan's also because it focuses instead of on the past, it's like the future.
The
and where
future.
you're
Interesting.
going,
We're all
which is-
making decisions. We're all like figuring out what we're gonna do, like after we graduate, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna work. You're still figuring it out.
exactly.
Like you're seeing
yeah.
people drop off, going different places. Like Jay's graduating early. I just
That's-
got my job offer. Like you're still figuring it out. You're figuring out which store to open.
That's very
Wow,
interesting.
that's
Yeah.
deep. These dream analyses really raise a lot of questions
Okay, really?
for myself
You're having a moment.
and for everybody else. What? That's That's a real. That's a
the way life
legitimate
works.
fact.
Real deal.
Moments leave just like all my friends will. Thanks.
Oh, jeez. Talk
Thanks a
about.
lot.
Wow. Okay.
It's a
Really?
little heavy in here.
Yeah,
I
geez.
feel like I'm wearing a weighted vest right now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who slipped these galoshes over my feet?
Mm.
Anyways, any questions? Listener questions? We are on phone answering your calls day and night. We have a call from Daniel from Crete, Illinois. Daniel, so glad to hear from you. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yes. When is the best time to enjoy cold ones?
Well, Daniel, every day we broadcast live.
Live.
I don't care. From our studio here in Dallas, Texas, and we are pleased to be your companion in drinking cold ones. So that's the answer for your question.
Yeah. And the accompaniment of others. Also, anytime is good, in my opinion.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Any place.
Next.
Give me a call.
Just give me a call. Call in.
Next question. Announcer?
America's #1 source for alternative rock music. But no, I'm just kidding. Actually do not know the next question.
Oh, so it's
Here, let me. My personal assistant is delivering the question for me. Oh, right. The next question is from Simone from Crown Point, Indiana. Simone, great to meet you. Simone asks, did Lindsay Lohan learn her accent from these footy news correspondents? Well, Simone, we might just have an answer for your little question here. I'd like to turn it over to William.
Yes, so she actually did. I was her accent coach for many years. Or as I like to say it, chip chip cheerio, good lad, fish and chips, tea time. And my work with Lindsay spans many years. And chip chip.
You know, I'll never forget the day when I'm teaching my U8 footy class.
Yes,
And who
indeed.
walks in but Lindsay Lohan? I said, "Oi, is that Lindsay Lohan?"
Hey, mate.
She says, no, mate, I just look like her. And I said, yeah. All right, well,
Ain't that the truth?
ain't that the truth? So, Lindsay, if you're out there, I can teach you a thing or two about soccer and a thing or two about love.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Hello.
on that note.
Our footy correspondent, Harry Frog, announcing some,
And Montgomery Withers.
yeah.
Steen, the third.
On that note, I think we're gonna have to wrap up the show and say goodbye. Unfortunately, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so
Get
much.
ready for Kitchen Carpet after us. I know
Yeah,
you guys
great
got a
show.
great show.
They've got a
planned.
great show, so enjoy.
It's gonna be a fun one. I'm gonna be listening.
So everybody, good night and sweet dreams.